Okay. Hi everyone, we are Obvious. We are a trio of artists using AI to create machine learning algorithm. So the idea of today's talk is to project yourself in the future of creation with machine learning algorithm. So the idea is that we're gonna showcase a bit of our work, our journey through machine learning algorithm. We started in 2018 working with GANs, working with a lot of things. So the idea is today that we're going to showcase that to you. And we're going to present something that I think you will find interesting. It's our next series. It will based on a very specific technique that I hope you will like. So to come back to what we are a trio of artists, and the particularity of Obvious is that we use AI algorithm to create, but we also talk about AI algorithm. You may be familiar with one of our artwork that have been sold in auction at Christie's in 2018 for $500,000. It basically started the journey of AI art in the mainstream stage, and this basically started the idea of how you could ask questions about our society through art and talk about those algorithms. So the painting I'm talking about is Edmond de Bellamy. It's the painting which is on the left, and it was created using GAN algorithm. In 2018, the popular algorithm back in those days was GAN, and GANs use image to create more images. So the idea is that you feed an algorithm with tons of images, and then it recreates some. So the first one that we created is called La Famille de Bellamy, and it's the one just there.
And so the idea is that throughout our journey, we've been using AI algorithms to do a series of works of art that have been exhibited in different exhibitions, museums, and we've been really trying to push this new artistic movement. So now you are all familiar with the type of algorithms that do text-to-image, for instance, like Midjourney and stuff like this. And back in those days, when those algorithms did not exist, we used to work with other types of algorithms to do our work. So we did a series on Japanese print in 2019, and we also did in 2020 a series about African masks. And so basically, we always try to use the newest technology to try and showcase how we can use to enhance your creative process.
Yeah, through this journey, as you can see on the previous slide, we like to work with craftsmanships, because as an AI artist, you always ask yourself, okay, digital is cool, but how can I reach new people? And from the very beginning of Obvious, we worked with physical artworks also. In this specific series that we worked and released in Magda Dani's gallery in Paris last year, we worked with historians to find references in classical text to the seven wonders of the world. The seven wonders of the world have disappeared. So we worked with the historian to see how Platon, Plutarch, all those ancient travelers from antiquity describe the seven wonders, and then we feed the text-to-image algorithm to create those images. And then we worked with a painter to go from the visuals to the classical painting. So the show was a show about 7 paintings representing the 7 wonders of the world, and 7 NFTs that you could activate using a VR experiment. So our job as artists and an artist as us, which have one foot in the NFT world and one foot in the classical traditional art world, is to make bridges between like classical collectors and new collectors from the Web3, to make people understand that it's a community that can extend itself and that can reach each other.
And so we've been also very active in the NFT space throughout our career. The idea is that we were invited to the beta of Super Rare in 2018. So in 2018, NFTs were very new, and very few artists used this technology to create digital art and sell it. And so we were interested in this experiment, and were invited to this beta. And the artwork that you see on the left was the first artwork that we minted, so in April 2018, making us basically the first French artist to create NFTs back in those days. And so we've been in this space, and from 2018 to 2021, there was not a lot of people. And so we were mostly exchanging with all of the very historic collectors at that time and all of the artists. And it was like a very friendly space where people used to exchange artworks. It was very, very friendly space. And then when the Beeple auction occurred in 2021, and then there was like all of this hype around NFTs, and we've been continuing to create NFTs since. And so we did a lot of collaborations. So for instance, if you know Brand Drops, we did one drop with them. It's a collective that recruit AI artists to do several drops, and that is quite popular. We did some collaboration also with classical institutions like Opéra de Paris that we did last year, and some other galleries also that are very rooted in the contemporary art space like Kamel Menour, and so we've been very active in this space as well.
Yeah, so the idea of the talk of today is to present a new series, and it's a very specific new series, and I think it's one of the future possible for the AI creation. So our vision is to be a trio of artists, but we also last year launched an AI lab of science, of machine learning. So the idea is that we team up with La Sorbonne University to create a lab to create new algorithm. You can see us as photographs that are not satisfied with the tool they have, the objective that we have. So we created this lab to create the new algorithm and to do scientific research and academic research. Hugo just there have a PhD in machine learning. And so from that knowledge, we try to publish scientific papers to showcase that art and science are connected. The logo that you can see, it's our logo. It's an homage to the Vitruvius Man of Da Vinci. And what we are inspired for this vision of this of our trio is that we think that AI is helping us to achieve a new Renaissance period where we are a new types of artists. We always like to say that we are not inspired by artists that need to cut their ear and drink absinthe to be creative, but we like to focus more on bottegas from the Quattrocento of Italy. You know, back in the days, in bottegas in Italy, it was places where art and science were connected, where science needed to help and to develop a new project, new aesthetics. So this is what we like to pursue, and that's what we train to do.
So yeah, in this vision, we also wanted to incorporate NFTs to our research lab, and so that's why we created a community NFT token when we launched the lab. So the idea is that the way the research lab will work is that every time we do a breakthrough and we make a scientific paper and that we create a new algorithm, we will use it to also create an artistic series. And this artistic series will be created using NFTs as well. And so the idea is to have a mint every time we make a breakthrough. And so it's a way to have access to other type of projects that we do and to also include the community, and maybe someday also have some feedback from the community on where we should do the research and try to get some influence from people that appreciate the art to also guide the research. So it's an idea that we have and that we want to pursue and develop throughout the research project that we are creating. And so today, the idea is to talk to you about one type of project that we do at the lab. So the first one is about text to video, but today we will talk about something very strange that we call mind to image. The idea is that today there are new types of AI algorithms that are being developed at the moment. The idea for these algorithms is they try to decode what you are thinking, basically. So the idea is that you go to an hospital, you do like an MRI scan, which you would do for a knee or for something like this, and you would do an MRI scan of your brain while looking at images. So the idea is that when you look at images, there are some activation in your brains that happen. Basically, in the visual perception, your brain is very active. And so based on those activation, we get this type of data from the MRI scan. That's exactly what the MRI scan gets you. And then based on this data, the algorithm is trained to decode the image that you are seeing. So it's basically some type of mind reading, and it's actually, there are lots of progress in this area at the moment. And so, I mean, there are like many papers that try to study that scientifically, and we want to be a new generation of artists that is able to handle this type of technology to create new works of art directly from thoughts in your brain.
So as you can see, we spend at the moment a lot of time in MRI machine in order to do this encoding of the brain. It's like we need to do about 40 hours of MRI in order to have a good match, a good pairs of images, and to then be able to decode what's in our mind. Please.
So here you can see some of the results that we already obtained. The idea is that, on this image, you can see that on the top row are images that we've seen in the MRI scan, and then the algorithm is trained to reconstruct the image that we are seeing. And basically, the reconstructed images that you can see on the bottom row are the images that the AI recreated. What's very important to note here is that the algorithm did not have access to the seen images. It only had access to the activation in the brain. So basically, as you can see, the reconstruction are quite coherent. So when there's a particular person with an orientation or some type of hairstyle, it reconstructs this type of hairstyle. And when you see a landscape with some boats, for instance, then the boats appear in the reconstructed image as well. So this is like the first step that we did during the last month. So we were able to do this result. This result is like a replication of a scientific paper that already exists. And now we are trying to go a step further and to maybe, instead of only reconstructing images, kind of imaging new images and making them real.
So you kind of understand why we think it's passionating as a subject, because, you know, as artists, you always try to give to the audience a kind of image, you know, and then you go through a medium to express yourself. For some, it's like painting, for others, it's like AI, or for others, it's just digital. But the idea is that we have digital visions in our heads, and we try to send them directly to the public. So for artists, this tool could be, if it works very well, it could be very, very incredible, you know, because we could project directly image that we think in your head, and that can go directly to the public without any loss of a perception. And you know, our job when we sell this artwork at Christie's in 2018 was making people understand that this technology arrives. Then GANs are the very, very beginning of this area that we are living right now, of mid-journey images, of AI-generated content. And what we try to express as artists is that right now, in the scientific community, those algorithms are a very hot topic of research. And because of that, we think and we are sure that in the next decades, you will have some helmets that have those powerful technicalities that can help you to visualize directly what you have in mind, or for an example, to express what you have in your head in terms of vocals or in terms of text. And that, as an artist, is absolutely like mind-blowing. You know, I could like think something in my head, and the text would be written on the screen. So it could be something that we think will arrive, and our job is to make art for people to understand that this is coming, you know.
And so this very obviously poses a lot of ethical problems as well. And so we've been confronted to this question throughout our career as well, with the development of new AI algorithm. Then there are many problems that can arise from this new technology, and we think that our role is to kind of showcase how this technology works, to make it more easy for people to understand that this type of technology exists and how it works, so that we can be less afraid of it and more in control and try to regulate it better. Because so here, for the mind reading stuff, for instance, there are lots of mind privacy problems. Basically, nobody wants to have his mind read by anybody else, I think. And so we of course need to be very careful with that. But we really do think that art is a very pure way to showcase technology and not directly use it for wrong or bizarre reasons, I would say.
So yeah, to conclude and for you to project yourself and to see what's gonna happen in the future. So we are right now in the MRI machines. So we hope to showcase that it works in early April. You will discover the first artwork created with this technology that will be showcased in Paris and in New York. And then we will publish the scientific paper in a machine learning and neuroscience conference. That would be a scientific paper, peer review, etc. And then at next fall, we will present this series constituted of different types of artwork based with that techniques in different cities, New York, Paris, and another one that I cannot reveal right now. And obviously, you will understand that this series will come with an NFT drop for the people who are following us. So it's basically all. Thank you so much for listening to us. Don't be scared about mind to image. It's a very fascinating and appealing experience. And I hope in the next decade you will have the possibility to explore it by yourself. If you want to follow our work, the best way is Instagram, obvious_art. See you and thank you for your time. Bye.
Questions? Maybe?
So I have a question. You said earlier that we can translate text directly. So don't you think it's a kind of problem? For example, if I want to write a book, and sometimes what the critics prize about is the way that you're written. So maybe the story is really great, it's amazing, but the word you use, the images are not the same. So could that be criticized? And the fact that, because you think you don't rate it, you can make a machine. You can make maybe 10 bestsellers per day, when a true writer takes years sometimes to just only write one book.
Yeah, I think it's a very relevant question, and I think it's also a question that is being asked at the moment with ChatGPT, for instance. So I would say that the fact that we can automate the creation of content really poses deep question about the originality and the amount of effort that you have to put in a creation for it to be interesting. But we also do believe that in the end, the fact that a creation will be important or major is decided by the public. And so the idea is that will those type of algorithms create, will this type of method of creation create things that interest people? In the end, it's always a question of attention of the public. And so I don't really think that today ChatGPT is able to create bestsellers. I don't think that people can come up with a bestseller every day. And I think those really great ideas come through experience and through many other type of stuff. And so this type of mind reading stuff and ChatGPT is just a way to facilitate the bridge between a really great idea and a final creation that is accessible to the public. And I think this technology really facilitates that, and we do think it's a good thing. And I don't think it will create 10 bestsellers per day then.
Bonjour. I saw that in the 2019 you created a Japanese picture, and I saw there is some characters but sometimes when we use the generated AIs, some Japanese character or some Chinese character is very hard. Like sometimes there are so many errors, and how would you debug or training your model to improve the correction rate?
So I think about this. So the series that you see in 2019, it was a series that we created using a type of algorithm that is called generative adversarial networks. And at that time, it was a very unadvanced technology, I would say. So most of the time, the visuals were very blurry and not very precise compared to the thing that we see today with Midjourney, for instance. And so back in those days, we are very interested in the distortion that happened in the image. We think it has some artistic values, and it's a type of aesthetic that we wanted to explore. But in most of our series, we really try to work with either historians or scientists to try to, when we study a subject, to try to be relevant historically and to try to at least respect the artistic movement that you are working on. And so it's a really also an interesting question what you said, because we really do think that in the generative AI scene today, there are many algorithms that are not really precise and that falls into some cliches and some bias. And I think lots of scientists are working actively on this at the moment, and there is no definite answer because it's also a bit political. And so it's a very tough question, but in our process, we really try to work with historians to be as not biased as possible.
You playing a lot with tech, with deep tech, AI tech. Do you consider yourself much more of an artist or technicians and engineers?
So we basically consider ourselves as both. People tend to oppose art and science, and through our logo and through our vision, we try to make people understand that art and science are deeply connected. Through the history of art, we have noticed a lot of scientific revolution that pushed the art further. You can see the perspective in the Renaissance or the paint tube for the Impressionism. So science and art are deeply connected, and I think we like to consider ourselves as both, and you can be both, I think, and there is no problem about that. But I mean, it's in the eyes of the observer, you know. If people consider us as scientific, we take that, and if people see us as artists, we take both. But when I wake up in the morning, I consider myself both. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.